Every day we build our own lives, not with bricks and cement, but with our actions, choices, and integrity. Some people work hard only when others are watching, but true success comes from consistent effort, even when no one is looking. This is the story of a man who learned this lesson the hard way, when it was too late to change what he had built. Ethan had spent over 30 years as a builder, constructing houses for one of the most successful real estate developers in the city. His hands were strong, calloused from years of labor, and his eyes carried the wisdom of experience. He had always taken pride in his work, ensuring every house he built was sturdy, beautiful, and crafted with care. But now, after decades of hard work, Ethan was tired. The long days of lifting bricks, measuring wood, and double-checking every detail had worn him down. He was ready to retire, spend time with his family, and finally enjoy life. One morning, he walked into his boss's office, ready to give his resignation. But before he could speak, the businessman smiled and said, "Ethan, I have one last request. Before you go." Ethan hesitated. He had been looking forward to leaving, but out of respect for his boss, he asked, "What do you need?" "I need you to build one more house," the boss said. "Just one last project." Ethan sighed. One more house. He had already made up his mind to leave, but he agreed anyway. After all, what was one more house compared to the hundreds he had built? But something was different this time. His heart wasn't in it. Instead of carefully selecting the best materials, he chose the cheapest ones. Instead of checking measurements twice, he worked in haste. He let small mistakes slide, thinking, "It's good enough." The foundation wasn't as strong as it should have been. The walls weren't as sturdy. The paint job was rushed. The floors creaked slightly when walked upon. Ethan convinced himself that it didn't matter. "It's just one last project," he thought. "No one will notice." The house was still standing, and from the outside it looked fine. But deep down, Ethan knew it wasn't his best work. Finally, after months of cutting corners and doing the bare minimum, the house was completed. Ethan handed the keys to his boss, relieved that he could finally retire. But then the businessman did something unexpected. With a warm smile, he handed the keys back to Ethan. "This house is my gift to you," he said. "Thank you for your years of hard work." Ethan's heart dropped. His face turned pale. His hands trembled as he looked at the keys in his palm. This was his house, the house he had built carelessly, the house he had rushed through, the house with weak foundations and cheap materials. This was the house he had to live in. Regret hit him like a tidal wave. If only he had known. If only he had treated this project as if it truly mattered. That day, Ethan realized a truth that applies to all of us. Every single day we are building our own lives. Our choices, our efforts, our integrity, they all shape the life we will eventually live in. When we cut corners, slack off, or do less than our best, we're only hurting ourselves. The quality of our work, even when no one is watching, determines the quality of the life we will experience in the future. If Ethan had known he was building his own house, he would have done things differently. But life doesn't always give us that warning. In reality, we are always building our own house. So friends, this story isn't just about construction. It's about life. Every action we take, every effort we put in, every habit we form is a brick in the house of our future. If we build with laziness and shortcuts, we'll live in a weak and fragile home. If we build with care, effort, and integrity, we'll live in a strong, beautiful life we can be proud of. So ask yourself, are you giving your best even when no one is watching? Are you laying bricks that will make your future strong? Are you proud of the life you're building? If this story inspired you, leave a heart, hit like, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let's all build wisely,